Hey guys, it's Arjun Kapoor and I want to wish all of you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year and have an amazing holiday period ahead. Lots of love.
The maker of Lagan, Swades and Jodha Akbar is back with a historic film that takes place 20 years after Bajirao Mastani. Ashutosh Gowarikar's Panipat is being compared to Sanjay Leela Bhansali's epic for good reason. The story is a continuation of the Maratha Empire which ruled India 2 centuries ago. The film focuses on the Battle of Panipat, when a ruthless Afghan king planned to take over the country.
I want to start with the fact that this film, your guys' characters, are very unique from any of your past work, right? So based on that, what was your initial reaction when you were first approached for Panipat?
I mean, firstly for me, it was that I'm a Punjabi, born and brought up in Delhi, to play a Maharashtrian, and for Ashu sir to actually think of me as that character, you know, who speaks in Marathi, who's dressed as a, you know, Maharashtrian girl. I think that I was like, how did you even imagine, like, without seeing me like that before? So that for me was very surprising when he thought of me as Parvati Bai. And then after that, I think once I saw myself in the Nawari sari, the khopa, the nat, you know, I felt like I could look like a Maharashtrian girl any day. And
you started bringing in Marathi too, right? Like
yeah, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I think it's a very, very sweet language. It's got a nice tune to it. And once I started learning it, I was like, I have to say it authentically, but at the same time, it has to be effortless because I can't suddenly start sounding like I'm saying it for the first time. Because Parvati Bai has been talking in Marathi since her childhood. So that has to come across. So I did take the diction classes, and then I started enjoying it so much that I started adding a lot of Marathi. And
She's spoken the most Marathi in the
yeah, and they were sort of concerned that ये Hindi film hai, please don't go so much into Marathi.
जाओ द्या मला. मैंने सुना है जब पेशवा अकेले मुहिम पर जाते हैं तो एक मस्तानी के साथ लौटते हैं.
मेरे जीवन में तुम ही हो और तुम ही रहोगे.
And for you, Arjun?
I think playing the character was the biggest challenge of my life, yes, but it was the most enjoyable journey. Because I submitted completely knowing that it's going to be sort of like an expedition in itself. It's not one of those films that you can just get in and get out. I had to live the film. I had to go bald for 9 months. I had to learn horse riding, javelin throwing, sword fighting. Just generally the physical nature of the film, the mental nature of the film. There's a certain requirement that you're supposed to perform at because the Hindi, the Marathi, the posturing, and for that you need rehearsal. For that you need to believe you are the character. You need to make that moment real by being Sadashiv Rao Bhav. I can't just spontaneously pop up with a Sadashiv Rao Bhav moment. It has to be a little more authentic. So that was challenging, yeah.
All the stuff that you talk about, learning horse riding, shaving your head, the preparation for these characters. First of all, why choose to shave your head instead of prosthetics?
I think that was a very easy choice. When you have to do a film for 100 days, you're not going to think about getting in the van for 2 hours and putting that wig on because it's not conducive. And you're shooting in natural environments where there's sweat, rain, cold.
Doing action.
You're turning.
When it comes off, you have to do the whole action again.
It'll open, and then what happens? You're on a horse. You can't really touch it up. The gum gets to you. Anyways, it's a difficult film.
Also, I feel like because it's a journey, you know, people don't shave their heads and clean it every day. So there's some scenes where there's a little bit of a stubble, you know, on the head.
As actors now for you guys, when a filmmaker like Ashu sir approaches you guys and believes in you and your ability to take on his historical characters, does that give you nerves, or like how do you guys go about accepting that fact mentally and fully going into it?
I mean, firstly, it's very exciting to get a call from the director who's been on your wish list. So that for me was, I was like, okay, I'll come to what you want to offer, but first let me just sink in the fact that you called. And then when I met him, I think, yeah, I mean, when you're playing a character that has actually lived in the history, there is a sense of responsibility that you want to do it right. You don't want to make people feel like, oh, I don't think she suits the character, because then you're sort of doing injustice to the character itself. So you want to like give in a lot more to that particular film and the character, and just make sure like you're at it.
When a director calls you, you wanted to work with, you get happy because he's choosing me. He's a man who's worked with Hrithik Roshan, Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan. So you feel like you've reached somewhere in life. You feel like, acha chalo, it's a tick mark to say, okay, you're going to sit across the table with Ashutosh Gowarikar. This man represented us at the Oscars. He's made some amazing films and he's always been an honest storyteller who's cinematic. So I was really excited about that.
When the trailer released, there was a lot of natural comparison to Bajirao Mastani, and you guys have been pretty open about how the two are related and how your character is actually Ranveer's nephew. Yeah. So, were you guys preparing for this? And as actors, do you view this comparison through a competitive lens, motivational lens? How does it impact you?
So it's difficult to look at it in a creative way and say we shouldn't do it because we'll be compared. I don't think anybody thinks of filmmaking that way. You have to believe your story is independent and has a connect with the audience. Comparisons are inevitable because by nature we are all used to doing that. The fact that we look similar means that both these directors are being authentic.
Yeah, it's consistent.
It's not that we are copying because
It's just the time is
the
same.
time was the same.
The place where they live, Shaniwar Wada,
It's
was
the
the
same.
same.
And I'm a Peshwa because that is the way they lived. That was a community. If I didn't shave my hair off and I had a regular hairstyle, I would be being dishonest to the film and the visual that they needed to represent the community, and that would lead to more flack. So I can live with the comparison as long as I know that our film is authentic, and I think people will feel that.
अब हमारे बीच कोई दरिया नहीं है। अब हमारे बीच सिर्फ पानीपत की ये रणभूमि है।
Now, I want to talk about one of the men who's not here, Mr. Sanjay Dutt.
Yes, Baba.
Baba,
Bole to.
again, third Baba. So, what was your guys' reaction knowing that you would be acting with or against him in this
So
film?
We had opposite reactions.
So after I heard the film and I said, fantastic, I'm doing it and let's do this and this, that. So when I was leaving the office, I said, sir, who have you thought of for Ahmed Shah Abdali? He said, no, I've already signed Sanjay Dutt. So I was like, sir, actually, I don't want to do the film. Let it be. It's okay. It's a hard pass for me. No. Because I was like, that's not happening. This boy can't stand in front of that man. But that was my initial nervousness and anxiety because the posters are about, if you see it, it's men versus men in that sense. And that era was about going to battle and going to war. So you have to look like you can take on each other. Sanjay Dutt carries a magnetic personality, massive, larger than life personality. So the anxiousness was that will I be able to match up? But credit to Ashu sir, credit to Sanju sir, both. Never was the environment created to suit only Sanjay Dutt. Never was it felt that, okay, Sanjay Dutt is coming, let's do his stuff and give him all the importance and Sadashiv can wait on the side. It was always about Sadashiv Rao Bhau and Ahmed Shah Abdali are shooting together. It is them coming together. And Sanju sir is anyway such a sweet child in that sense. You know, he's a man, but eventually when you talk to him and all, he's like a child. So he never made me feel like I'm shooting with Sanjay Dutt, and that's what I was telling them. I said, "Wo eventually khatam ho gayi shooting," and I was like, "Oh,
It's over.
I was worried about this. Let's do that again." So, but no, yeah, the nervousness is allowed, and I think it makes you perform better.
अब्दाली के आने का मतलब है पूरे हिंदुस्तान पर आक्रमण।
इस बार 1 लाख की फौज लेकर आ रहा है वो।
पिछली बार जब वो यहाँ आया था तो यमुना का पानी 7 दिन तक लाल था। मोर का तख्त और ये कोहिनूर बड़ी मशक्कत से पाया जाता है। छीनने से नहीं मिलता।
Let's talk about Ashu sir. What was he like on set? And what do you guys think makes him the amazing storyteller and filmmaker that he is?
Yeah, so I think for somebody like Ashu sir, he's very calm on set, and the best part is very unlike me. He's very, very calm on set. He's somebody who carries the unit on his shoulders. He's a true leader, but he's never flaunting it. He's never out there raising his voice or making a big deal about it. Somebody very prepared, somebody very aware, very actor friendly because he's been an actor himself. But also the thing I love about him is he imagines it for the big screen. You know, to get a director who's showcasing his film, thinking about not YouTube, not about consumption on digital platforms, but saying I want people to come to the theatre to enjoy this world. I think that's so amazing to get to be a part of that.
And sometimes his directions are very poetic. Like it was my second day on set, and we were doing a Mard Maratha song, and there is a line where Parvati sings to Sadashiv directly. कि कह के तो देखो मुझसे मैं जान दे दूँ तुम पे क्या तुम नहीं जानते. Now in that क्या तुम नहीं जानते, he came and he's like, you know, give me that smile that makes me feel like you've known him for a very long time. Which is like, I mean, I still got goosebumps. Like, yeah, I got goosebumps. I was like, this is such a poetic direction that I'm getting. And it makes me absolutely realize what I have to do. You know, it's crisp, it's correct, it's very specific. But at the same time, it's beautiful.
जब नारी जागे हिम्मत से काम ले चूड़ी उतारे कंगन उतारे तलवार थाम ले.
Now, finally, what's one reason that everyone should go to theaters to watch this film?
Some stories get lost in history. Some don't get their due. So in between the Mughal Empire and the British Empire, there was the Maratha Empire. This is a story of one such war that was fought that many people like to not speak about, because of the consequent result that took place. But this war is more than the result. And it's a true patriotic film for me, and I think it's a film you can watch with your family. Very rare that you can take a film that has that is inherently supposed to be an action film but has so much of emotion, so many female strong characters, music, romance, that you will enjoy it with the whole family.
तू छोटे से जमीन के टुकड़े के लिए अपनी जान देने जा रहा है. मैं इस धरती के मिट्टी के एक कण के लिए भी मरने को तैयार हूँ.